If you're going to be spending your summers at concerts, festivals, and events, you need this clear vinyl stadium bag, and I'm going to show you how to make it now. Hi, I'm Ashley. Hopefully you subscribed to my channel already. Hint, hint. And if you do, you know that I am a DIY fanatic and I love to design almost any kind of project. But my favorite projects are those like today's that come to me by request. The other day, my BFF Lindy asked me if I could make her a clear stadium bag for going to concerts. She loves music and concerts, but most bands, artists, and venues are getting increasingly strict about what you can bring into an event. And while we usually just shove our lip glosses and ID into our husband's pockets, a clear vinyl stadium bag like this one is so much better. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make a custom vinyl crossbody bag with crocheted edges and an adjustable leather strap. And stay tuned until the very end because I'm going to give you a sneak peek at my next tutorial, which might make you love this bag even more. But before we get to the bag, if you love turning basic supplies into the most fashionable attire, then I think you will really like it here and you should probably click on that little subscribe button. I promise to only do the coolest projects and bring them all to you weekly. Vinyl can be really tricky to work with. Machine sewing can easily poke too many holes in the vinyl, and that essentially perforates the material, making it prone to ripping. And that's why my method is so great. By punching holes much farther apart and then using yarn to do a surface stitch on the vinyl, I'm able to create a sturdy vinyl bag that will really last. This is seriously my new favorite project, so let's get started. Our first step is to cut the vinyl down and prepare it to sew. I bought my vinyl at Joann's. It's a nice thick gauge, so it'll be really sturdy, but this is also a great project to repurpose the vinyl packaging materials like the packaging that your sheets and duvets come in. I'm also using a large magazine as my guide, a ruler, a Sharpie, and this leather hole punch. I'm sure you could punch your yarn holes out with a needle, but this tool is really handy. I use it for so many projects, even not leather ones, so it's really worth the investment. The easiest way to make a pattern for this bag is to just use a magazine that's the size that you want your pieces to be. That way you don't have to worry about making any right angles. It's really easy. My bag is 8.5 by 11, but you can make yours any size you want. Cut 2 pieces out by cutting right along that Sharpie line and you're ready. So here I have my 2 pieces of plastic clear vinyl, and I've gone around one of them with my ruler and my marker just to mark each of my little holes that I'm going to punch. And then I just used a couple of binder clips to clip the 2 pieces together so that I can punch them at the same time. When you're working with this plastic vinyl, you never want to use pins to attach it together, always something like a binder clip so you don't leave permanent holes. I'm just going to take my leather punch. I use this for obviously working with leather, but I also use it to poke holes in zippers that I want to crochet into projects or for any kind of vinyl, so this is a pretty good investment for a cheap tool. So then I'll just put my punch over the hole and punch it through. So I'm going to go all the way down the side, the bottom, and the other side, and I'm going to leave the top part open. Our next step is to do a surface stitch over both pieces of vinyl, crochet the side and bottom pieces, and then crochet that piece to the bag. I'm using this yellow cotton yarn from Lily's Sugar and Cream because Lindy and I thought a pop of color would be really fun. So I have the smallest crochet hook that I have, and I'm just putting it through my first hole from the top and grabbing onto that slip knot I made with my yellow yarn. And then I'm going to pull that piece up through that first hole. Now I'm just going to put my crochet hook back down through the second hole, and I'll grab onto the yarn with my hook and pull it back up through that second hole. And I'll finish by just doing a slip stitch and pulling that second loop through my first loop. Then I can go down into that third hole with my hook, and again I'm going to grab my yarn and I'm going to pull it up through that third hole that my hook's in. And I'm just going to pull that loop through my first loop again. And I'm starting to create my surface stitch like that. And I'm creating crochet stitches in my vinyl that I can crochet my sides and bottom to. I have a size E crochet hook and my yellow yarn has a slip stitch to start. And I'm going to chain the number of chains I need to go all the way around the sides and bottom of my bag. And I'm also going to add 20 chains to that because I need that to attach my rings for my strap. The sides of my bag each have 42 surface stitches in them, and you can double check yours by counting them yourself. And the bottom of my bag has 35 surface stitches. So I need to do 42 for one side, 35 for the bottom, 42 for the other side, and then an additional 20 stitches for just my chain. So with my 129 total chains, I'll be able to go all the way around my bag. And you can see that I'm going to be able to match up this chain to the side of my bag. And that's why it's important to do the chain the long way and not the short way as you're creating your sides, because it'll be a lot easier to crochet them together when they match up like this. And when I'm done with my 129 chains, I'm going to chain one more so that I can turn, and then I'm going to do a single crochet all the way down all of my chains. And that's going to be the first row of the sides and bottom. I'm going to do a total of 5 rows of single crochet to get the width I want. But if you want a bag that's thinner or that can hold more things, you can definitely adjust the number of rows you do, and that won't affect anything else in the pattern. And then I'm just lining my edge piece together with one of my vinyl sheets, and I'm using binder clips to just clip them together so that I can do a stitch between my edge and the surface stitch on my vinyl. I started by just putting my side and bottom piece in the middle of the bottom and then going around the sides with binder clips. And remember, your sides should be longer on both sides so that you have a place to connect the straps. So with my pieces lined together, I'm just going to take my hook and I'm going to insert it through both loops on the edge of my bag and both loops on the outside of my surface stitch. So there I have it through all 4 loops, and then I'm going to take my yarn with a slip stitch and put it over my hook. And I'm just going to pull that loop through all 4 stitches to start. And then I'll yarn over and pull it through my other loop, and that's going to be what finishes that single crochet that goes all the way down the side. Then I'll just again go through the first set of 2 loops on my side, and then the 2 loops on the outside of my bag that are my surface stitch. I'm going to keep doing that where I'll put them through all 4 loops, and then I'm going to pull my yarn over and pull it all the way through. Now, it is a little bit of a tight stitch at times, and the vinyl can be a little tough, but you'll get the hang of it as you go. It's a lot easier to do off camera, I promise. And this is going to start to create a really nice edge to your bag. And then of course clip the other side of your vinyl bag to your crocheted sides and stitch that together as well. I used 2 pieces of leather scraps that I already had to make a total 42-inch long strap, and then I'm attaching my strap to my bag with 3 D-rings. Now, since I've crocheted my sides longer than I need them, I'm able to just fold my yarn down, sew it together with a tapestry needle with my D-rings right in there, and then I have the perfect way to attach my leather straps. And I am doing 1 D-ring on one side and 2 in the other. That way I can attach my leather strap right to this one. And then on this side I can weave my leather through both rings and make it adjustable. And I just added a little extra loop of leather there to make it more secure. And all I'm doing is sewing these little leather pieces together with the same leather hole punch that I was using and some wax thread and a needle. It's super easy, nothing fancy. And here it is, my clear vinyl stadium bag. This bag is pretty great, but like I said, I'm giving it to my friend Lindy, and Lindy loves to collect concert posters. So again, don't forget to subscribe to my channel because my next tutorial is going to be on how to add easy adjustable straps to the strap of your stadium bag to hold a poster. I'll be back soon with that tutorial, and hopefully you liked this one enough to give this video a like too. See you soon!